Welcome in Valkenswaard, not Rio de Janeiro, for the 8th round of the European Rallycross Championship. It's the 3rd round of the second half of the championship. And the week after Belgium, we're back in the lowlands. And we're in Dutch country. And the drivers are presented to the massive crowd there in Valkenswaard. Very sunny conditions, ideal conditions for a good weekend of rallycrossing. And let's have a look at one of the heats. This is the touring cars division, and you've seen Koen Pauwels at the start together with Derek Tohill there, and Pedro Bonnet in the black Volvo, and it's Tohill who takes the lead from Bonnet, Pauwels and Lund in the blue Volvo. Very twisty Valkenswaard track, one of the classics in European rallycrossing, and a bit of an accident between the two Belgians. Pedro Bonnet pushed round by Koen Pauwels. Might be payback for last week in Belgium when there was an altercation between them as well. So Tohill leads now from Pauwels. Good start there from Derek Tohill. Still at the front of the championship, but needs the points badly. This is the Joker lap. Interesting gaps between the drivers there. They can fully focus now on setting a good time. As you can see, the organizers have a bit sprayed some water on the track so it doesn't become too dusty. That means it's extra slippery for the first cars who get over that sandy part. Still Tohill leading in his Ford Fiesta from the other Fiesta of Koen Pauwels. And Tohill goes for the Joker lap. Together with Pauwels. And can he stay in front of Lund? No, he can't. The Volvo driver passes him. And it's Tohill who wins it from Lund and Pauwels. Pedro Bonnet finished in 4th, way behind. Last week we saw a new star in the Super 1600, Joni Wiemann.
The first practice I took very easy, but now we start to push for the qualifying.
And you are by far in the biggest team in Super 1600. Do you get some tips from Bakkerud?
Yeah, we speak a lot and speak how we drive and so on, so it's very good. The team is the best, I think.
And what are the ambitions for this race?
I try to go for the A final and then we see what happens again.
A very promising youngster there, Joni Wiemann. And let's see him in action a bit later on. We're watching a heat in the Super 1600 category with championship leader Andreas Bakkerud in the pale baby blue Renault Twingo. Left of him, Skorupski in the Volvo. And it's still Bakkerud who takes the lead from Skorupski, and Rakhmatulin. René Munich goes a bit wide. And it's David Johansson in the Citroën who's in 4th now. Bakkerud from Skorupski. Some pushing there. Very easy to push these little cars around. And Ildar Rakhmatulin has found a gap and passes Skorupski, as does David Johansson. Skorupski drops to 4th. Johansson goes for the Joker lap. Skorupski has lost a lot of time there. Bakkerud leading from Rakhmatulin. Bakkerud still championship leader after the Belgian round with 7 points in hand over Ulrich Linnemann. Skorupski had closed the gap with the win, but is losing some time here. Bakkerud hasn't won in the second part of the season. Was 3rd in Sweden, off the podium in Belgium. But every time he showed good speed. Rakhmatulin, of course, winner of the Norwegian round. But that was after a penalty for Ulrich Linnemann. Rakhmatulin goes for the Joker lap. Skorupski takes 2nd for the moment. It still has to do his own Joker lap. But Bakkerud is clear of the silver Renault Clio. David Johansson, bit of a slowish start there in Valkenswaard. There goes Skorupski for his Joker lap. Sticks to the apex and goes a bit wide, finds some traction and must slot in behind Ildar Rakhmatulin. Was almost in front of the Russian. And now it's up to Andreas Bakkerud. Andreas Bakkerud, who made a mess of his last choker lap in Belgium. He's doing far better here. And he stays in front. The Norwegian driver. He's going to take a clear heat win. So Bakkerud from Rakpaturin, Skorupski, Johansson and Munich.
It was good. I got a really good start. Did some three bad laps, I think, and the last lap in the joke lap was quite fast. I was lucky that my competitors was crashing to each other a little bit, and so I could drive alone in the front. So second place, I think, in the first heat overall, and not too bad.
Special guest in Valkenswaard, Dakar star Gerard de Rooij.
The first 2 laps I need to get the feeling again, because the last time was 2 weeks ago when I did the test. But after a few laps you get a feeling, and then you start to go faster every lap, so that's good.
And of course this is something very different than what you are used to drive.
Yeah, of course, this is 3 or 4 minutes full attack. Dakar is 14 days, so it's you can't compare it. But this one is it's a lot of playing with the car, so this one is pure fun. I see it as pure fun this weekend.
It's a big difference between a Dakar truck and a Rallycross Citroën, of course. First heat of the Supercars division with Gerard de Rooij at the start in his orange Citroën. Still competing in Dakar, of course, but having fun here. Ready for the start, and they're off. De Rooij at the outside, in the inside it's Hedström. And Jan van Loon and Patrick van Mechelen in the Subaru. And Ronnie Scheveneels in the Paillet Peugeot. Hedström taking the lead. And Kutny and Scheveneels. De Rooij here passes Van Mechelen, who gets offline and doesn't find traction that easily. Loses some time. Scheveneels goes for the joker lap, as does Gerard de Rooij. Hedström leading from Kutny. Good start from the Skoda driver. Being put under pressure by the Ford driver. Might be heading for a good time here, Hedström. Clear at the front, while the rear bumper of the Peugeot of Scheveneels is coming loose. And it goes off completely. Good sign for de Rooij. Can't take it anymore on his car. Might cause some damage. Kutny still putting Hedström under pressure there. And there goes Kutny for his joker lap. Where does he slot in? He goes a bit wide, loses some traction, and Van Mechelen passes him. Oh, and there a mistake by Hedström. He must have hit the inside. Looking at his car, the right front is completely damaged, and that was really a silly mistake with such a clear lead. He was heading for a good time, must have hit the barriers on the inside and spun round, damaging the car. Van Mechelen goes for the joker lap, so Kutny can take the lead. And Van Mechelen and de Rooij. And there is Hedström. He tried to restart, but with a broken off right front tire, that's difficult. Kutny takes the win from Scheveneels and Van Mechelen. De Rooij takes 4th. Repeat of the results and the retirement, and 80 points for Peter Hedström. Very sunny conditions on the first day of the Valkenswaard weekend. And another heat in the Supercars division with Mats Liesen. He's still very young, Mats Liesen. Together with Scott de Keersmaker. And Frode Holte at the start of this heat. Frode Holte, of course, who made his comeback in Belgium and is only competing in this round. This year, we hope to see him back next year for a full season. And a good start for the Volvo driver. He leaves Mats Liesen. And Frode Holte takes the lead from Liesen, de Keersmaker and Scott. Andy Scott slotting in behind the Ford of Michael de Keersmaker. Holte has some difficulties in getting stopped as a Volvo, but he stays in the lead from Mats Liesen in the Renault. Liesen goes for the Joker lap, as does Andy Scott. So now we have two pairs. Two of them have done the Joker lap, Liesen and Scott. Holte and the Keersmaker will still have to pass those extra meters on the gravel. The Keersmaker there sliding very wide. Wasn't the quickest line through that first corner. And again sliding very wide. Has some difficulties in finding traction apparently. The Belgian in almost his second home race here in Valkenswaard. Let's drive with Frode Holte. Nice driving there through the chicane and into the first corner. Andy Scott has some difficulties in following Mats Liesen. Mats Liesen, who is closing the gap towards the Keersmaker. That will be very difficult for the Belgian when he takes his Joker round. And there he is in the Joker lap. Where is Mats Liesen? Mats Liesen comes out almost in front of the Keersmaker, but the Keersmaker makes his Ford very wide and he stays in second. Has lost some time there. So that's all to the advantage of Frode Holte, but the Keersmaker is still in second position from Mats Liesen and Andy Scott. And the leader goes for the Joker lap. This normally should be enough of a gap to hold on to the lead, and that is the case. Frode Holte will take this heat win in a very good time as well. Win for Frode Holte in the quickest time up to now. There's still a heat to come. Keersmaker second from Liesen and Scott.
Mats, it was quite a big fight with Michael de Keersmaker.
Not so good for the time, but that's a part of the rallycross, I guess. So I lost the start completely, so I was all too late on the light, but we'll try again harder tomorrow.
And Timur Timozhanov, the leader in the championship, is looking for a third win in a row here.
The practice was very nice. I was leading all the practice, and now time official practice was on the lead position. And yeah, it's okay.
And what will be the strategy for you this weekend to have some points or to go for the win?
No, of course I go for the win here, but if it depends how I finish, and all the points which I have in the end, it will be okay for me. Maximum points which I can.
The feeling is good, and I think we can catch a speed here. We come from a difficult weekend in Belgium, so 0 points there, so I have to gain the speed here.
And how is this track like?
I think it can fit me. It have a lot of fast corners and some tricky parts too, so but it felt okay.
And what are the ambitions for this weekend?
Hopefully be back in the A final and hopefully a podium.
Alexander Waal, who had 0 points in Belgium, wants to get back into the A final here in Holland, but he will have to cope with these guys. Timur Timozhanov, Davy Genet, Liam Duran and Stig-Olof Walfridsson. Final heat of the Supercars division, the final of the first heats. And let's see who is quickest here on the Valkenswaard track. Four massively quick starters, and they start very quick as well here. Who will get into the first corner first? 4 into 1, that doesn't go, and it's Timur Timozhanov from Liam Duran, Stig-Olof Walfridsson and Davy Genet. What a good start that was. Let's ride with Stig-Olof Walfridsson, heading for the first corner. And then they almost slid off with 3 cars, but they came to the senses just in time. So Timozhanov leads from Duran, Walfridsson and Genet. Trying to brake in time. Duran has to put his car very sideways to get stopped in time. And he goes for the Joker lap together with Stig-Olof Walfridsson. Not such a good thing for Stig-Olof Walfridsson because he's stuck now behind Liam Duran's Citroen. And what can Davy Genet do? He's now chasing Timur Timurjanov. Can he create enough of a gap towards the monster Citroën of Liam Duran to hold on to second place behind the championship leader? Timurjanov really on a cloud. Has won in Sweden, has won in Belgium, is looking for his third consecutive win. Here comes Davy Genet. Can he stay in front of Liam Duran? There he comes. Oh, yes, he does. Good driving by the Frenchman. Very efficient driving with the Citroën C4. Bit of an older model than this DS3 of Timurjanov and Duran. But still a very quick car. Igor Wolfertson has some difficulties in matching the speed of the leaders. Meanwhile, Duran, as you can see, is putting Davy Genet under pressure. Timurjanov goes for the Joker lap, but holds on to the lead quite easily. So that's the first heat normally in the pocket of Timur Timurjanov. The Russian takes the heat win from Genet, Duran and Wolfertson. And it's the quickest time overall as well for Timurjanov. Genet is second overall. And off to the Sunday then. The first of the second heats in the Super 1600 category. Bakkerud, Linneman, Skorupski. Those are the big names to follow. And Erik Varen and Makarov in the green Skoda. Some pushing and squeezing, and it's Makarov who takes the lead there. That's a surprise. Good driving from the Skoda driver. From Linneman, then Erik Varen. And Andreas Bakkerud has been pushed wide and will lose a place here as well. See, Skorupski takes the inside line. And he even passes to Skorupski, the winner in Belgium. Linneman goes for the Joker lap and slots in front of Andreas Bakkerud. This is not a good heat for Andreas Bakkerud. Linneman and Bakkerud, the rivals in the championship, with Bakkerud leading from Linneman. But the Danish Peugeot driver wants to get some points back here in Holland. Very difficult to find traction with these cars, especially this corner. See how Skorupski runs wide, and Bakkerud passes Linneman there. A very good scrap between the top two drivers of the championship. Very sporting as well. Not too much pushing and shoving going on. Meanwhile, Makarov still leading. And Linneman finds a gap as well and takes the gap. And has passed Bakkerud again. Of course, very nice to look at, this kind of duel, but it's not good for the time of the drivers. Let's see what they can do. Bakkerud still behind Linneman, while Skorupski is putting Makarov under pressure. Bakkerud puts his car next to Linneman's, but it's still the Peugeot driver in the lead. Skorupski goes for the Joker lap, as does Bakkerud, and Skorupski stays in front of Ulrich Linneman, only just. So now Linneman can focus on the Polish Volkswagen driver and try to get a position win. Position's not important in the heats, it's only the time that counts. And there must have been some contact there with Linneman because the tire is rubbing on the bodywork. Vadim Makarov still leading and taking the lead and holding on to the lead here from Skorupski and Linneman. That will be an interesting win for the Russian Skoda driver. There he goes, Makarov from Skorupski, Linneman, Varen, and a disappointing Andreas Bakkerud. Here you see the results again. So Ulrich Linneman wants to close the gap of 7 points towards championship leader Andreas Bakkerud.
The second heat was hard because we have a big fight, me and Andreas. We fight for the championship right now, and we are only 2 points together, so we have to fight hard every time. and I was first from start, and then he pushed me a little to get on the inside, and then the next corner I did the same as he did with me. So I think it was a good fight, but it took a lot of time, and then I only was 9 in the heat.
Let's head for the supercars now with the Battle of the Lowlands. 3 Belgians, 2 Dutch drivers in this heat. Jos Janssen, Patrick van Mechelen. Gerard de Rooij as well in the orange Citroën. And Jan van Loon in the white and green Fiesta. And it's Janssen taking the lead from Van Mechelen. And there is contact. Jochen Koks lost some time immediately. Janssen leading from Van Mechelen and de Rooij. De Rooij heading for a good time now. He's getting the car more and more under control. Heads for the Joker lap. Wise tactical decision, but goes a bit wide there. Might have lost some time. Meanwhile, Jos Janssen and Patrick van Mechelen are fighting between them at the front, trying to keep up the speed and hold the gap big enough so they can stay in front of the guys who have taken the Joker lap. Janssen goes for his Joker lap, and where are the others? They are way behind. It seems that Janssen can hold on to the lead and only has to cope with Van Mechelen. Koks and the splendidly looking Sirocco there. Van Mechelen from Janssen. Then Jan van Loon closing the series there. Jos Janssen is close enough to Van Mechelen to take back the lead, I think. Van Mechelen very easily goes to the Joker lap, and Jos Janssen retakes the lead in this heat. But Van Mechelen stays in second. Still de Rooij in third, but Janssen wins this heat. And de Rooij crosses the line in third. Koks was fourth and Van Loon was fifth in this heat. And now let's head for Tanner Faust, one of the stars of the Supercars division, the American. Needs a good time. His first heat wasn't that well. Only 3 cars on the grid here. Davy Genet, Frode Holte and Tanner Faust in the yellow Rockstar Ford Fiesta. And the American takes the lead, is pushed a bit wide but holds on to the lead. And Frode Holte is in second, and Davy Genet again last after the first corner. That happened to him as well in the first heat. But then he still managed to put a second time overall. So maybe he can repeat this here. It looks like the same script. Frode Holte goes away from Davy Genet to do his Joker lap. So now the Frenchman has some clear track in front of him. He might try to close the gap towards Tanner Faust. And at least overtake Frode Holte. The Volvo driver at the 4th time overall in the first heat. Tanner Faust leading from Davy Genet, and Genet has closed the gap towards the American, but has he got enough of a lead to stay in front of Frode Holte? That's the question. Oh yes, he does, by quite some margin even. And the Frenchman again heading for a good time. As you can see on the side windscreens of his Citroën, the car is for sale. He's looking for a new DS3, he as well. But his C4 is still a competitive car, as you can see here. Tanner Faust still has to do his Joker lap. And he'd better hurry. Yes, good tactics from Tanner Faust. Now the gap is still big enough. And he can hold on to the leads from Davy Genet. So it's looking like a heat win for Tanner Faust. Still has to do a lap. Not the best of lines through that chicane there. Davy Genet still trying to close the gap towards Tanner Faust. Some 2 seconds behind here. Well in front of Frode Holte. Yes, Tanner Faust might get the fastest time overall here as well, looking at his lap times. And that's a good time for Tanner Faust, 2:35.4. Davy Genet, 2:37.7. That's a good time as well. And Frode Holte came third in the heat. So that was the end of part one. Let's see you after the break for some very exciting finals. Welcome back in Valkenswaard in Holland for the 8th round of the European Rallycross Championship. We're still in the heats. This was Liam Duran, Alexander Waal. It's the second series of the heats and we're in the supercars division. 5 seconds to the start of this heat with from left to right Timmerjanov, Waal, Duran and Michael de Keersmaker. Timmerjanov was quickest in the first heat and is taking the lead here, and Duran hits the inside of the track and then Waal on the outside, and he might have damaged his car there. The rear wheels are not really pointing in the right direction, as you can see. I think the tire wall was damaged as well, and that's why there is a safety car. Red flag. Look again. Liam Duran goes for a gap, hits the rear of Alexander Waal's car, and then hits the concrete wall, and then bounces back onto the Citroen C4. And Duran's car is too damaged to restart, so it's 3 cars now. Timmerjanov from Waal and de Keersmaker. Again, a good start from Timmerjanov. If he can get quickest time overall here, he's already sure of the pole position again after 2 heats. The time to beat is the one you saw just ahead of the break. Tanner Faust's time of 2:35.4. That's the quickest time up to now in this second heat. De Keersmaker goes for the joker lap. The Belgian wants an A final and if possible a podium finish. That would be nice. A lot of Belgian fans, of course, here in Valkenswaard as well. And Timmerjanov creates a gap towards Alexander Waal. Waal, who had a great first half of the season, but a very difficult second half until now. He might want to change that here in Holland if he wants to finish the podium, the season on a high note. He's still third in the championship, despite his 0 points in Belgium. But the gap towards Tanner Faust, who is second in the championship, has become 5 points. Meanwhile, Timmerjanov lapping the Valkenswaard circuit in an exemplary way. Not losing any time whatsoever. And his lap times are very impressive. He looks to be heading for a very good total time. Alexander Waal takes a joker lap and stays in front of de Keersmaker. It will be a duel between Waal and de Keersmaker for second place in this heat, because barring technical difficulties, no one can take the heat win from Timmerjanov. But the most important thing is, of course, what time will the Russian set? 2:35.4 was the time of Tanner Faust. Keersmaker chasing Alexander Waal there. Timmerjanov going to the joker lap, and look at the advantage of the Russian towards the competition. There he comes, and what is his time? It's 2:35.3, 1/10 of a second, and that means that Timmerjanov is already sure of pole position of the A final. Keersmaker still took second in that heat from Waal. And let's see how big the damage is at Liam Duran's car.
I missed the start a little bit, which is my fault, which meant I dropped back off the start line, but I actually got a good start when I got going, so I caught him back up by the first corner. And rather than try and stay on the outside, I tried cutting on the inside of Alexander behind Timmer, and he closed the gap up as I went into it, and it squashed me between him and the wall, so my back left wheel hit his wheel and threw the car up in the air. And I thought I was going to roll over, to be honest, because it looked like I was going to land on the wall and turn over, but luckily it just came down next to the wall and sort of broken both sides of the rear suspension where it hit the wall. So.
Third heat then, third and final heat in the Supercars division. You saw Mats Liesen, this is Tanner Faust. Tanner Faust looking for a good time in his third heat. And there he goes with Davy Genet on the inside. Can he take a good start? No, he can't. It's still Tanner Faust who takes the lead, but this time Tanner Faust holds on to the lead in front of Davy Genet. Keersmaker a bit of pushing there toward Mats Liesen. Lost in the third, and Mats Liesen goes fourth. Keersmaker goes for the Joker lap, drops behind Mats Liesen. But now he has a clear track in front, so he might make up some time. And he's already back behind Mats Liesen. In front still Tanner Faust from Davy Genet. Nice fight here between Liesen and the Keersmaker, but they are losing some time. And that means that Davy Genet probably will come out in front here. Yes, he does. He stays in front of Liesen and the Keersmaker. That was only a very close duel there. Tanner Faust still in the lead. Good driving there from the American. And a nice scrap here between Genet, Liesen and the Keersmaker for second in the heat. But it probably will be Tanner Faust. Tanner Faust who might set the quickest time here in this third heat, because I can't see why Timur Timurjanov would drive this one. He's already sure of the pole position in the A final. Comes out of the last corner, Tanner Faust takes the heat win from Genet and the Keersmaker. Liesen finishes in fourth. Repeat of the results. But because of an engine change, Tanner Faust has to start in the B final.
We're starting in the second row, but on the inside of the B final. And it's not such a bad position to be in, really. The only better position would be pole, which isn't possible for us when we had the engine change. So I'll be fighting very hard. The Fiesta's running really well, and the handling is good. And so there may be a bit of a fight in the B final.
The last of the heats then in the Supercars division with Timurjanov on the grid, but he will probably only do the start. And there he goes. Timurjanov goes for the start, and then, yep, he slows down immediately. So it's Alexander Waal in the lead from Voor de Holte, Jos Kuipers and Jos Jansen. A nice dress rehearsal there for Timurjanov for his start for the A final, but now let's look at what Alexander Waal and Voor de Holte can do. There's no technical problem over in here. A bit of a mess between Jos Kuipers and Jos Jansen. So it's now between Voor de Holte and Alexander Waal, and because Voor de Holte takes a joker lap immediately, it's solo driving for both these cars probably. Let's see who's quickest in the laps around. Voor de Holte throwing the Volvo over the curbstones. Not really the quickest way. So for the moment it looks like it's going towards Alexander Waal, but still some laps to go, of course. Voor de Holte still looking for an A final position, as is Alexander Waal. They both could get into the A final as well. And Waal takes the heat win from Holte, and they are both quick enough to go to the A final. Kuipers will have to be happy with the B final, as will Jos Janssen. And here is that B final. Ronnie Scheveneels in the Peugeot on the front of the grid. Hedström, Swede in the Skoda. And of course Gerard de Rooij at the back. And Tanner Faust is in this one as well. What can he do to get into the A final? And they're off. Good start there from Scheveneels, who takes the outside line and gets back to the apex. What a good start from the Belgian, followed by Hedström, Kuipers and Tanner Faust in fourth, but Tanner Faust goes a bit wide there. Still, he stays in fourth. The first two of these go to the A final, as you know. Faust tries for the outside, but gets stuck there, and contact as well with Kevin Proctor, that was. Has lost the spot with 3 into the Joker lap. Kuipers, Proctor, Tanner Faust. Tanner Faust now comes back behind de Rooij. It's not looking good. Oh, contact there. De Rooij and Janssen, what happened there? Janssen tried to cut the corner, but hit the rear of the Citroën of de Rooij, and then heavy contact. Oh, and another contact. Kevin Proctor rolls over. Heavy contact with Scheveneels there. Scheveneels coming out of the Joker lap, and Proctor imagined that the Belgian would disappear, but he didn't. 2 incidents in the same lap. Let's look again. Janssen and de Rooij. I think that's clearly imagining a gap that wasn't there from Janssen. He gets out of his car. Of course, the B final is red flagged by now. And what a pity for de Rooij. Was trying to have some fun, but was hit in the rear by a too enthusiastic Belgian. And here, leader Scheveneels comes out of the Joker lap, has no way to go, and Kevin Proctor, maybe focusing on the Skoda of Hedström, hits the side of this Peugeot, and he rolls over in a very spectacular fashion. Kevin is okay though. But what a way to finish your weekend. We have another angle as well. The end of the roll of Kevin Proctor. Was very lucky to stay this side of the guardrail. So restart then. Only 4 cars left on the grid, and it's looking a lot better now for Tanner Faust. Hedström taking the lead from Tanner Faust. Pavel Kutny and Jos Janssen's car, who is repaired. How did he do that? He looked an absolute mess, but he could repair his car right in time. Good pitch crew probably, Jos Janssen. And Faust goes for the Joker lap. Kutny and Janssen are a bit behind. It seems rather clear that Tanner Faust and Peter Hedström will head for the A final. And that's good for the American. You never know what might happen. So an emphatic win in the B final for Tanner Faust. And he goes to the A final with chances of getting some good points there. This is the A final of the Touring Cars division. With on pole position, it's Robin Larsson, the Swede in the Skoda. Next to him, the Ford Fiesta of Anton Marklund, and Derek Tohill in another Fiesta. The third place of the front row. Here he is, Derek Tohill, the Irish driver. And they're off. Good start from the front row, but it's Marklund who takes the best start. Or is it Derek Tohill? It's Marklund from Tohill, then Larsson. Then Lars Roosendaal in the Fiesta. And Belgians, Bonnet and Powels following suit. Larsson sitting from pole position, now only third, not the best of starts then. First of the Joker laps, I think that's Lars Roosendaal and Pedro Bonnet indeed. Koen Powell slotting in behind Roosendaal with a very popular Ford Fiesta in this division. Marklund, Tohill, Larsson, that's the top three. of the A final. Who is heading for the Joker lap first? Normally it should be Tohill or Larsson. And I think it might be Larsson. He's apparently a bit quicker than Derek Tohill in front of him. And there he goes indeed. The Skoda driver was losing some time there. And might gain an advantage driving alone around the track. Tohill has some difficulties in following Marklund. Marklund from Tohill and Larsson, even with a Joker lap, still in third behind Koen Pauwels. Moves up to fourth, fighting with Lars Roosendaal. And Pedro Bonet just behind. Nice overtaking there by Pauwels. Marklund goes for the Joker lap. Can he stay in front of Larsson? Larsson has overtaken Derek Tohill when Tohill took his Joker lap. So Marklund still in the lead, 2 Swedes in front of the Irish driver. Final lap now, fight between Marklund and Larsson for the win. Marklund, who won the opening round of the season, but hasn't won since. And Robin Larsson, who has won in Sweden and Belgium the last 2 rounds. Son of Lars Larsson, of course. And he might find a gap here. He goes for Anton Marklund on the outside, but Marklund stays in front of Robin Larsson, and Derek Tohill is getting closer. Tohill, who hasn't done his Joker lap, he made a mistake there. That's why Larsson could overtake him, taking his Joker lap now. So now it's between the 2 Swedes. And again, Marklund and Larsson. Larsson very quick there in that corner. But Marklund makes his Fiesta very wide. And it looks like he's heading for another win. He does. Anton Marklund wins this one from Robin Larsson. And Derek Tohill and Marklund increases his championship lead.
It's great to be in first place and Larsson is second.
It's the first time that Larsson finishes and not wins.
Yeah, yeah. He is a little bit of a 50-50. Otherwise, if he wins or he is in no final. But he's a great driver.
So jumping there for Larsson, Marklund and Derek Tohill. Time for the Super 1600 A final. Championship leader Andreas Bakkerud. Is he looking at the first corner or is he looking at something else? Hilda Rakhmatulin. Timo Suninen, another set promotion Finnish driver. And who's best? It's Joni Wieman to the left, who takes the best start. The youngster was on pole position, takes the best start and heads for the first corner first, with Rakhmatulin just behind him. Rakhmatulin pushing Wieman there, and Wieman is pushed off by Rakhmatulin. Not very fair play by the Russian. And Wieman is stuck. What? And Rakhmatulin, yeah, that's what's called poetical justice. He's pushed off as well, as is Suninen. So now it's Bakkerud in the lead. Well, might have been cause for a red flag here, but they can continue. Vadim Makarov goes for the Joker lap. That's the safest way because there's no one behind you and he can't be pushed off. So Bakkerud in the lead from Timur Shigabudinov, the Russian, and Ulrich Linnemann, his main rival in the championship. If Bakkerud can hold on to the lead here in the A final, he could increase his lead then. But it has happened before this year that Bakkerud goes out of the lead of the A final, and Wieman's car is parked there on a very dangerous spot. If another car goes off, it's hit at 100% certain. Linnemann stays in front of Makarov. Good for the Dane. That's one car behind, so it's now just Bakkerud and Shigabudinov. With these two not chasing, they have both done their Joker laps, and Bakkerud has seen what happened. Takes his Joker lap and loses a place to Shigabudinov, but that's not so serious because Shigabudinov still has to do his Joker lap. So he's the virtual leader now, Bakkerud, the Russian in the Clio, just holding up Bakkerud now, and Linnemann is closing fast. What happens here with Shigabudinov? Will he go for his joker lap? And what will Linneman do? Linneman is now right behind Andreas Bakarud. Shigabudinov, he will drop back to third or fourth, depending on what Makarov does. He goes back to fourth, Makarov into third. And this is the fight for the lead and the fight for the championship as well between Bakarud and Linneman. We have seen in the heats they can overtake several times in one lap even. But can the Dane find a gap to pass the Norwegian in the baby blue Renault Twingo? Bakarud holding on to the lead, and he takes the win from Linneman and Makarov. Great final there from Bakarud. And he increases his championship lead.
What a first lap.
It was crazy, massive pushing from the behind. I was very, very lucky. It's perfect. It's only the camera that could follow me the final.
We saw Joni Wieman in the first corner was pushed. Then Ildar Rekmaturin. Where were you?
I was in the middle somewhere.
And your starts wasn't good.
I think it was okay. It's quite even here, so I'm happy.
So, podium finish then for Bakarud, Linneman and Shigabudinov. And then the big ones, the A final in the Supercars division. Can Timurjanov take a third win in a row? He is on pole position. And that's a good start. Frode Holte, good starting position for him as well. Nice comeback from Holte. Davy Genet next to Timurjanov. Michael de Keersmaker heading, wanting a podium finish. And Tanner Faust coming up from the B final. And we're ready for the start, and we're off, and the Keersmaker immediately closes the gap to the car behind him. It's Timurjanov who's heading for the first corner first. Davy Genet hit from behind, and Alexander Val is pushed wide, and he is pushed off. Bad luck there for Val. But it's Timurjanov in the lead from Genet, then Frode Holte. Good start from the Volvo driver, and the Keersmaker is in fourth already. Finding the way through the dust. Good start again from Timurjanov. And Mats Liesen goes for the joker lap together with Peter Hedström. Alexander Val trying to make up for lost time in that first corner. Bad luck for the man who is third in the championship. Timurjanov, not a scratch on his Citroën, hasn't got any contact whatsoever all weekend long. Was able to drive his laps and is now heading for a third win in a row. His fifth of the season. Let's drive it for the Holte in what might be his last European final of the season. The Keersmaker coming out of the joker lap. Good driving by the Belgian as well. Stays in front of Liesen and in front of Tanner Faust. Top three remains unchanged. Timurjanov from Davy Genet and Frode Holte. Will Davy Genet be able to catch Timurjanov? There hasn't been a direct confrontation all weekend long between the two fastest men this weekend. But for the time being, the Russian remains in the lead, and Frode Holte goes for the joker lap. Can he hold on to that podium position? Yes, he can. He stays in front of Michael de Keersmaker and the black Ford. But the Belgian is now very close, and he might try to find another gap. Mats Liesen, Tanner Faust, Peter Hedström and Alexander Val closing up the rear of this A final. And will the leader change? Who will go for the joker lap first? There's some tactics going on here, and it's Davy Genet. Davy Genet goes for the joker lap. He stays in front of Frode Holte by a long way, so he's sure of second place. Can he develop some speed now to try and overtake Timurjanov when he goes for the joker lap? Timurjanov, who will probably go for the joker lap right now in this lap. Because if Davy Genet is quicker, he doesn't want to give him the time to close that gap. Kind of fast now in 6th. Damage limitation, you could say, after that engine change. Was very quick. Yellow flags there still. And there goes Timur Timurjanov. And he stays in the lead. Davy Genet slots in behind, and Timurjanov is heading for his 3rd win in a row. A great second half of the season for the Russian. 3 wins out of 3 after the summer break in Sweden, Belgium and Holland. Genet finishes in 2nd. Frode Holte, what a magnificent 3rd place for Frode Holte. I hope we can see him back next year. De Keersmaker goes 4th and Mats Lies in 5th.
I'm very happy that it finished like that, and yeah, it was a great track, and sorry for the last year that I was not in A final, but I'm here now, and it was a really nice race, because I need to look for the mirrors, because I saw that Gianni was there, but I don't want to push so hard. I just control my car and everything. That was brilliant.
Yes, 2nd isn't that bad. We do a good operation in the championship. I hope to get one better in Finland or in Germany, but I'm happy with 2nd for the moment. Timur made the difference in the last 2 laps, but I'm very happy with the 2nd place here. It's a good reward.
We had problem last weekend, but the speed in the time practice was already there, so just a little bit unluck last weekend, and now we are on the top. It's good.
So Frode Holte and Davy Genet, their best finish this season, but the man in the middle is leading the championship with a big margin. That was it from Valkenswaard. Let's see you in Finland next time.